What if I told you Google has quietly given you almost an entire AI agency for free and most people are still using it like a basic chatbot? In this video, I want to show you something I genuinely think is underrated. Google does not just have one good AI tool, it has a full stack. And if you know how to combine the right pieces, one person can start doing the work of a researcher, strategist, designer, developer, marketer, and even filmmaker. That is what I mean by an agency of one. This is not one of those vague AI hype videos. I am going piece by piece and showing you how these tools connect into a real no-code system for builders, creators, consultants, freelancers, and marketers. If your goal is to build faster, automate more, and create better content without paying for a bloated software stack, you are going to like this. The real power only shows up when you stop seeing these as separate tools and start seeing the whole system. The real advantage here is not one Google AI tool. It is the way the whole stack works together. Think of this as a 3-hub machine. Hub 1 is intelligence and research. That is where Gemini, NotebookLM, and Learn Your Way help you think, analyze, learn, and turn raw information into usable insight. Hub 2 is the app and logic engine. That is where Google AI Studio, Stitch, and Opal help you build interfaces, wire logic, and automate workflows. Hub 3 is marketing and media. That is where Pomelli and Google Flow help you turn strategy into branding, campaigns, and video content. In plain English, this is the shift. You are not just chatting with AI anymore. You are building a lightweight operating system around your work. And the first place most people underestimate this system is Gemini, because they still think it is just another chatbot. If you still think Gemini is just Google's version of ChatGPT, you are leaving a lot on the table. Gemini becomes far more useful when you stop treating it like a question box and start treating it like a multimodal workbench. There are 4 big ideas here. First, deep research. You can use Gemini to explore a market, map competitors, compare trends, or pressure test an idea. For example, you could ask it to break down the 2026 running shoe market, compare Nike versus On versus Hoka, and surface white space opportunities. Second, custom gems. This is where you create role-based AI specialists like an outreach strategist, a product researcher, or a script editor. Third, scheduled actions. This is where AI becomes proactive and starts sending recurring outputs without you asking every single time. And fourth, Omni Video, which points to the bigger idea that Gemini is not locked to text. It can sit inside image, video, and richer creative workflows too. The real mindset shift is this. Gemini is not just giving you answers. It can become your research desk, your specialist layer, and your recurring output engine. And once it becomes more than a chatbot, the next decision is what kind of thinking you actually need from it. One of the biggest AI mistakes people make is using the wrong model mindset for the wrong job. This is one of the most useful ideas in the whole system. You have Flash on one side and thinking on the other. Flash is the executor. It is fast, clean, and great for quick comparisons, summaries, lists, rewrites, and everyday outputs. If you want an answer in seconds, Flash is usually the move. Thinking is the strategist. It takes longer, but it can reason deeper, challenge assumptions, and find smarter angles that are not obvious on the first pass. The Nike example makes the difference really clear. A fast answer says, target urban runners. That is fine, but obvious. A deeper answer might say, target gym goers and casual streetwear buyers, because the upside is bigger. That is the difference between expected thinking and strategic thinking. Most people get this wrong by asking shallow tools for deep strategy, then blaming AI when the output feels generic. And once you care about smarter answers, the next challenge is making sure the information stays grounded instead of drifting. What if one source document could become a podcast, a presentation, a quiz, a video idea, and a sourced knowledge base? That is why NotebookLM is one of my favorite tools in this stack. One source file can turn into multiple assets: a 10-minute audio discussion, a presenter deck, an animated explainer concept, a mind map, a 30-question quiz, and a sourced table. That is insane leverage from one input. The reason it works so well is trust. NotebookLM primarily works from your uploaded sources. So if you upload a report, transcript, PDF, set of URLs, or research notes, it stays much closer to the material instead of drifting into made-up filler. For a creator, that means one dense report can become a full content pipeline. For a consultant, it means one client document can become a brief, a summary, a learning asset, and a strategy discussion. For a teacher, it means one chapter can turn into multiple learning formats without rewriting everything from scratch. And turning one source into many outputs is only the beginning, because the next leap is adapting those outputs to different kinds of learners. Most AI education tools still miss one huge truth. Not everyone learns the same way. This is about adaptive learning. Same source, different delivery. One person may want clear steps and action items. That is your reader or doer. Someone else may need diagrams, structure, and visual framing. That is your visual learner. And someone else may understand everything faster if they can hear it explained out loud. That is your auditory learner. This matters because better format usually means better retention. People stay with information longer when it matches the way they naturally process it. For creators, this is a content multiplier. One chapter can become a spoken breakdown, a visual explainer, and a practical guide. For teams, it becomes a real onboarding upgrade. This is where the Google stack gets more interesting than most people expect, because it stops being about answers and starts becoming about systems people can actually use. And once AI can teach in different formats, the next question is what happens when it starts helping you build? If Gemini is the face of the system, Google AI Studio is the workshop in the back where the real building happens. AI Studio is the backroom engine. At the center, you have raw models. Around that, you have coding, chat, image generation, video, audio, and real-time interactions. So this is not just a chat interface. It is a place where you test behavior, shape outputs, connect modalities, and start building real products. One of the most important things here is the system instruction example. The prompt says, think with me, stay skeptical, double check facts, and prioritize truth over politeness. That matters a lot because stronger prompts do not just make the AI sound better, they make the AI think better inside the rule you need. If you are building a product researcher, you do not want a polite yes machine. You want something that pushes back, spots weak assumptions, and forces better decisions. But a smart engine is not enough on its own, because the next challenge is turning that intelligence into something people can actually use. Imagine describing an app in plain English and getting UI direction instead of staring at a blank Figma file. That is the promise of Stitch. For non-designers, this is one of the most exciting parts of the whole stack. The workflow is basically 3 steps. First, you define the prompt structure. What is the product? What does the user need to do? What should the screen help them achieve? Second, Stitch uses Gemini-style processing to interpret the logic behind what you asked for. Third, it turns that into actual interface direction. Imagine saying, build a simple landing page and dashboard for an AI audit service with a pricing section, client intake form, and results view. Instead of spending hours figuring out layout from scratch, Stitch helps you move from rough idea to usable UI direction much faster. Here is the part nobody talks about. A lot of people do not get stuck because they lack ideas. They get stuck because the blank canvas slows them down. And once the experience is designed, the real leverage comes from automating everything happening behind the scenes. This is where AI stops being a cool demo and starts acting like a repeatable business machine. Opal is all about turning one-off logic into reusable workflows. Imagine you run an AI automation agency and want to pitch 20 brands in food, fashion, or D2C. The input is a target brand plus a value proposition. The system then analyzes each business model, drafts tailored outreach angles, writes personalized cold emails, and packages the result into a dashboard of ready-to-send pitches. That is important because you build the logic once, then keep feeding it new inputs. Instead of manually researching one brand after another and writing every email from scratch, you create a repeatable system that handles the heavy lifting. You still guide the strategy, but the grunt work gets compressed. This is the moment where one operator starts behaving like a small outbound team. And when research, interface, and automation start working together, you stop seeing features and start seeing a real company model. This is where the whole system clicks, because now the tools stop looking separate and start behaving like a company. This is the cleanest expression of the agency of one idea. Phase 1 is Stitch, which acts like the UI and UX team. It shapes the front-end experience. Phase 2 is AI Studio, which acts like the dev team. It builds the back-end logic, handles integrations, and helps turn the concept into a working app. The example here is MuseQuest, a Spotify-style product that can generate its own music. Phase 3 is Opal, which acts like the ops team. It automates outreach, updates, and repeatable workflows around the product. In plain English, one person can now design, build, ship, and operate a product using AI layers that each play a different role. That is the real promise here. Not magic, not hype, just stacked leverage. This is the frame more people need when they talk about AI. Not which tool is best, but how these tools work together. And once the product engine is in place, the next advantage is turning that same system into a marketing machine. What if a brand could teach AI its identity once, then generate campaigns, brand assets, and landing pages on demand? That is what Pomelli is doing. The input is brand DNA, fonts, hex colors, tone, tagline, core values, and overall visual feel. Once that identity is understood, the system can generate high-end social campaigns, studio-style photo shoots, multi-page brand books, and deployed landing pages. Think about what that means for a small team. Instead of reinventing your brand every single week, you train the machine on your style once, then let it produce inside that system. A coffee brand, for example, could feed in its earthy palette, minimalist tone, packaging cues, and messaging style. From there, the system could create matching campaign concepts, visual assets, and landing page directions that all feel like the same brand. That is the difference between random content and coherent marketing. And once the brand is logged in, the next leap is making the story move with cinematic consistency. Most people waste AI video tools because they start from zero every single time. Google Flow is interesting because it treats AI video more like filmmaking and less like a prompt lottery. The smartest idea here is simple. Do not start from scratch. Use Flow TV to find a look you already like. Study the exact prompt that created it and then remix that structure into your own timeline. That changes everything. Instead of guessing your way into a cinematic result, you start from a proven visual language. So if you are making a product trailer, a YouTube visual sequence, or a short ad, you can pull from looks that already work, then adapt them to your own story, subject, and pacing. This is also where a lot of creators get overexcited too early. They jump into generation before they build consistency, and that is why the result looks cool for 5 seconds and then falls apart. Cinematic AI only works when the world stays consistent from shot to shot. If your AI videos keep changing characters, environments, or style from scene to scene, this is probably the fix. This is the locking method, and it is one of the most practical ideas in the whole workflow. Step 1. Lock the subject. Generate the character first and keep that consistent. Step 2. Lock the environment. Build the location separately and keep that stable too. Step 3. Only then move into execution where you actually generate the scenes. Why does this matter? Because if you skip straight to video, the model starts drifting. The face changes, the room changes, the mood changes. Suddenly, your supposed main character is not the same character anymore. That is why the warning matters so much. Always lock the images before you spend the expensive video credits. Once consistency is locked, the next step is learning how to direct the scene so it actually feels cinematic. A lot of bad AI video comes from one problem. The prompt is too vague. This is a simple but powerful recipe. There are 5 blocks: shot or motion, subject, action, environment, and lighting or mood. In other words, what is the camera doing? What are we looking at? What is happening? Where is it happening? And what emotional texture should the scene have? The example makes it instantly visual. A weathered astronaut's gloved hand brushing dust off an ancient artifact on a sun-baked alien dune with golden hour light and a slightly melancholic tone. That is not a random prompt anymore. That is direction. This formula helps you stop asking for a cool cinematic scene and start describing what a director would actually specify. And once you know how to direct the scene, the bigger advantage is seeing how the entire stack fits together as one blueprint. If you only remember one part of this whole video, make it this one. This is the blueprint. Gemini is your multimodal research and thinking layer. NotebookLM is your source-grounded knowledge engine. Learn Your Way is your adaptive education layer. AI Studio is your build engine. Stitch is your UI accelerator. Opal is your automation layer. Pomelli is your brand and campaign machine. Flow is your cinematic content engine. When you line them all up like that, the story becomes really clear. This stack is not just giving you features, it is replacing chunks of paid software, agency work, research workflows, and content production overhead. My real takeaway is this: the future is probably not one super tool that does everything. It is knowing how to orchestrate a stack better than everyone else. If this shifted how you see Google AI, drop a comment with the one tool you want a full tutorial on next. And if you want more videos like this, subscribe, because the people who learn to stack these tools early are the ones who are going to move faster than everyone else.